Hi, Maria. Welcome to another episode of TBI TMI.
Good morning, Zach.
We have, my name is Zach. I'm a practicing CPA. I'm 4 years into recovery from my office related head injury. And Maria here, tell us a quick.
Sure. I'm a 19-year post-severe traumatic brain injury. I was in a car accident where the vehicle flipped 3 times, and I have spent the past 19 years both recovering but also learning more about the community of brain injured people and what we face as some of our challenges in being misunderstood. And I'm so happy to be here with Zach and help our community understand more about what we experience and to hopefully make one person or more feel just a little bit less alone in this crazy battle.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
rundown. That's very nice. I'm currently being distracted by my dog in the corner of my eye as she licks herself.
Oh
Um,
boy. Oh boy.
so, on this week's episode, we're going to discuss an article in the New York Times which talks about HIV medication used for stroke victims to regenerate neurons to develop brain function once lost. Neither of us are scientists. My dog just opened the door.
Well, I want to piggyback for a second because I think it is for stroke victims, and that's who they tested it on. But they also really think it could be useful for folks with traumatic brain injury. And so I think one of the things that they really describe in the article is how the healing and the getting back certain functions of the brain has not been something we've been able to access. And so I
Right.
know for me, I was never given a pill or anything that was going to maybe help me get back certain parts of what the brain injury took from me. And so I think that's what's super exciting about this drug.
Yeah. Can
That
we
there,
go back to the
yeah,
beginning of the article though? Because I found myself being thrown back into the world of dealing with neurologists and the healthcare system and this belief that like, oh, once you've injured your brain, there's nothing we can do for you.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it was pretty clear. Doctors cited, quoted in this article being like, once your brain's injured,
that's right.
you're effed. Like,
Yeah,
it was
that's
more
right.
or less what it was saying. And I thought it was
That's right.
just so fascinating that, I have physicians in my life. I joke about God complexes all the time
Hmm.
in relation to them. The brain's just not a muscle that's understood. And
Right.
neurologists are phonies.
Well, gosh, my little stewing, angry boy over there. Um, I mean, I think what's I appreciate about that statement of people not understanding the brain, including the neurologists, maybe not, but folks who have brain injuries oftentimes say, no one understands me. And
Right.
then we've kind of, as a community, said, well, yeah, part of that's because every brain is different. And so every brain injury is different. However, it's not uncommon with clients or other people that are in my world who have also had brain injuries to realize years after their injury when they're looking at an MRI or when they're sitting with a doctor that does really take the time to talk to them that there are certain parts of their brain that has been impacted, and so that's useful to know. when they're like can't find a word, and why can't I find a word? Or they get so upset when plans change, and it's like, why is that? Well, it's okay, you can't find the word because the right side of your brain is impacted, or you can't do organization because your frontal lobe was impacted. These different things, and so just parsing that out with someone.
Yeah, I just want to quote a phrase or a sentence in here. That is why for decades the medical attitude towards survivors of brain injury has been largely one of neurological nihilism. And that stroke, in this case, was often seen as a disease of diagnose and adios. And I feel like the diagnose and adios, I'm sure you can relate to it, and I can relate to it, and I'm sure our one listener can relate to it. Our two spouses can relate to our experiences.
Yeah. And the thing about diagnose and adios is, unlike us, there are many people with head injuries who are doing it alone, who are trying to get services and who are out in the world alone. And they might not have the stamina because fatigue is a symptom of brain injury, or they might not have the ability to get themselves to the right person because that drive is no longer there post-injury. And so it's so hard, because if you've just been told this is now you, goodbye, get used to the new normal, and there's no one saying that's not okay,
what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, you're related to yourself and your patients. I'm sure this is something you deal with a lot, right? Where you are kind of coaching your patients this level of acceptance of a new normal. And what are some of the tips that you would give them? I mean, I know I'm getting off subject a little bit here because I think we're ways away. The kind of focus of this article is basically like an HIV drug was given to these stroke victims, Maravirac, I don't even know how to say it, which was a Pfizer medication that basically blocked a CCR5 receptor and blocked a portal protecting cells from infection, but boosted neuroplasticity after brain injury. Sorry, there was a lot there.
No. I think that's useful to come back to it. And I think in part of that, they do describe the symptoms that were changed or benefited. Is that right? Did they list that in there? Maybe that was earlier.
I mean, I feel like
memory was definitely one of the things that benefited from
rebuilding memory, better language, attention. I think memory, attention, and language, which are all, things that are lost upon stroke.
And for many, lost or totally screwed up post brain injury. And I think those are actually the things that oftentimes drive people to isolate. It's like, I don't want to participate in stuff. I don't want to be around people because I'm not going to remember what I said 5 minutes ago, or I'm not going to be able to find my words, or I'm not going to be able to stay focused and follow what's happening. So I do think this drug, if it ends up being something that is finds its way to the community, could be really, really helpful. And I just would wonder how much time can lapse. That's what I always wonder before you take the drug. Like, would someone who had a brain injury 19 years ago benefit from having this drug? And if it's the case, give me a call right now, Pfizer. But back to your question about tips and stuff, if you're not well, I guess like all of us, not able to get this medication at this moment. And also, if you're sort of new to having a brain injury, was that what you were questioning? Like,
Yeah, I think,
it's
when you
about
have patients who are coming in and fighting
clients.
this reality of their new normal, how do you help them? Acceptance is such a hard thing in general, and I think with the brain injury, even though mine was much more mild than yours, I think it's still challenging to accept that this is sort of my reality. And I think I told you offline, like I had a incident with a colleague who I adore, and her dog was barking, and I was having a bad day, and it was like shrill, and I couldn't concentrate, and I said something about like spraying the dog in the face, and I love the dog too, about to get it to be quiet, and it
Yeah.
was not a well received suggestion. And then I could tell that it was not well received, and then I like obsessed about hurting her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to sleep that night, but I didn't sleep well, and then like tried to rectify it the next day with some dog treats and a cookie, and luckily
Mm-hmm.
that worked, and I apologized, and explained to her, I think I was just having like some sort of episode with my brain because I had recently
Mm-hmm.
hit my head again. And so it's all it reminds me a lot of grief, like it's always there,
Yeah.
and sometimes it sneaks up on you in ways you can't anticipate,
Yeah.
and you
Right.
can learn skills and tools to mitigate those responses, but it still kind of catches you off guard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Well,
4 years in compared to, you're 19, and
mhm.
you have patients who might have been how many days labs? Days? Weeks?
Yeah.
Months?
Yeah. Usually weeks, but just because there's so much in that first very beginning, just to getting your bearings kind of inside yourself, I think that people don't usually seek services as far as mental health for at least a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I hear you describing in some ways is the symptom of sort of sensory overload with the dog barking, and then you have this anger outburst at your friend, so anger outburst, symptom of brain injury, and then you have this rumination and sort of obsession, and the obsession is I hurt someone I care about, and the compulsion is to keep thinking about it and processing it. And so all of those three big symptoms, three difficult symptoms, are part of brain injury. And so part of the tip I am giving or would give is you're still learning your brain. four
Yeah.
years in some ways, I'm still learning my brain. I don't use the word acceptance because I think for me, I'm never going to accept that I do an anger outburst. I hate that. I don't like that it happens, and I try really hard to do everything possible to not get to that point. And yet, I still get to that point sometimes. And it's hard to hurt people you love and then to get back and be apologetic when your brain is kind of right side up. But it doesn't feel like something that I'm really ever going to be willing to accept. And so I
Right.
don't expect that of other people. I don't think that would be a good tip to say, get used to it. You're just someone that has
Right.
anger outbursts. I think, in fact, what you did seems like a very good coping tool. You had the anger outbursts, wish you didn't. And yet you were able to acknowledge that it was something that doesn't line up with who you want to be. And so you went and you made an apology and you were really clear about what happened. And I think that is really powerful, that for some people with personality disorders, which at times folks with brain injury can be sort of lumped in with. We don't have personality disorders. And oftentimes when you do have a personality disorder, you would have an outburst, an anger outburst, and you would never apologize. So we have that piece of awareness that that wasn't okay. That doesn't line up with who I am. I'm sorry that I did that. And so I think that's really powerful. But I think as far as other tips goes, the biggest tip I could give people ever is that life is more exhausting post brain injury. Yeah. So if you think about that day, I hear you saying I didn't sleep well the night that I did it, but what about the night before that?
Right.
It's also, what did you do that morning?
Yeah.
Before work.
Probably exhausted. Probably a lot. Yeah.
Had you been fed lately? You know, it's these really basic needs that if we're skipping over them. So you said you were exhausted. Talk to me more. Let's just look at this for a minute. What was going on that day?
God, I mean, this is the thing is I don't remember. I mean, the memory thing, you know, sometimes I think, oh, the brain injury would be nice because then I could just forget some of this stuff. But it sort of seems to have at some points different effects of like the obsession. Right. But
it knows what's important, and then you won't forget that stuff.
What else was going on that day? I really don't remember. If you talk, I might think.
Did you do like more. Swimming that day?
Probably.
Did you have bad sleep? I mean, do you do swimming every day before work?
I'm kind of more of I get up, walk the dogs, work for a few hours, go for a swim, work for the rest of the day.
So after the swim, you go into the office, you mean?
Right. Work from home for half the day, then go into the office for the second half.
So if I were your friend who was also a therapist, I would probably say, is there any way you can flip that schedule?
Work first and then swim? What do you mean? Go into the office first?
Yeah. And then work from the home in the afternoon. Because to me, your brain, I think you mentioned in one of our sessions, is best from 10 to 1. Well, that's when you should be around other people, because that's when you're probably most able to filter instead of having those anger outbursts.
My worry with that is that work is going to pour into my exercise time, and to me, exercise is always going to supersede the importance of work.
Yeah, I hear that. I think sometimes, though, one of the things that can help with the fatigue is physical movement. So it could actually benefit you to do that in the afternoon after the work in the office, and then have a bit more energy to be at home with your dogs and doing your work. I don't know. I don't know.
I did try that last week, and I ended up going to the pool in the afternoon, and I was surrounded by old men who were oblivious and had no etiquette in the pool, and kind of grossed me out. So,
oh boy,
it was like my looking into a future I had no interest in being a part of.
Well, but now that you've done it once, do you think you could just not pay attention to them?
Well, honestly, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe with them because they would just jump into your lane and not say anything. And they were like, it was gross. It was like the grossest swimming experience I've ever had, because it was like row after row, and some of them were like really hairy men. And you're like, I'm swimming in this pool. Like, I breathe through my nose as much as I can, but you still can't help getting water in your mouth, and I'm getting somebody's fucking back hair in my mouth while I'm swimming. A clump of back hair while I'm doing a flip turn from a backstroke while 3 other back hairy men might be hitting me. So maybe, I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I think I can make some adjustments. But I don't ever want to. I just when I see the back hairy men in the pool, it's always like a bald guy too. Like no offense,
Oh,
bald men.
you see your
Uh,
future.
but I'm not hairy everywhere else. And
Huh.
so when I see like a bald man who's got like tufts of shoulder hair and back hair, it's just so disgusting to me.
We're not
Like,
using that
come on,
word.
man, symmetry, trim it down. Like, don't. Do you have a partner who? They must not have a partner who's like checking them, because like my wife is like, you've got some stray eyebrow hairs that I need to pluck because they're freaking me out.
She's a good woman. Um,
She is.
I mean, I think when it comes to acceptance and going back to the tips, one of the things that I think can be really useful is also just saying it out loud, right? Like even just saying, to yourself, that was an anger outburst. That was part of my brain injury. Because I think sometimes with brain injuries, we get caught in thinking like, am I just a really bad person? Do I just get angry at people? Versus because
Right.
I'm super fatigued, because my sensory overwhelm is, if I hear a sound, I have that reaction. That those
Yeah.
types of things. Now, last time you said you were yawning and you felt bad.
I still feel bad, and
And now
I
today it's
got a
just
good
the two of
night's.
us. Yeah, but it was because I was talking to one of our guests, and it was like we were blabbing on and on. But now you and I are actually having a conversation, just the two of us, and you're yawning. So,
This is why I want to remove video from this whole process. Let me have my bodily functions in private, please.
that a bodily function is a yawn a bodily function.
I think so. I mean, it's a combination of yawning and then I chugged a smoothie before getting home. Here are some suppressing burps too.
No, okay. Well,
It's just a lot going on.
I don't know if that answered your question, sleepy boy,
Um,
about tips.
I think it's helpful to know. I don't. I think it does circle back to kind of. I know you don't like the word acceptance.
I don't not like it. I think.
Let's roll back the tape, folks. I think.
No, I say I prefer not to use the term acceptance
Okay.
specifically with anger outbursts, because I think,
Yeah.
like, even the people in our lives are like looking at us like, did you really just
Yeah.
do that? And it's like, I can't really accept that because I don't think it's okay. I wish it
Right.
didn't happen,
Yeah.
But I also, well, anyway, what were you going to say? You like
Well,
it.
I was gonna egg you on to an outbursty topic of young children riding their bicycles with
Oh, thank you.
unhooked helmets. I
Yeah.
think I think we should have some sort of ranting segment in every
Yeah.
episode.
I think rants are
Today Maria's rant is
we could
on.
do rants and raves like they do in the newspaper. So, but maybe you don't know what you're gonna get. So only we say a rant if we have one. Only we say a rave if we have one.
Yeah, we're gonna try to employ as many tools of defunct, dying media as possible. So let's go rants and raves this week's
But my
rant.
rant, truly, and this is to parents, because I don't think any middle schoolers are listening to this podcast. Oh, no one's listening. No one's listening, but definitely no middle schoolers. So if you are listening to this podcast, parent of middle schooler or high schooler or any schooler, and you're making your kid leave the house with their helmet, follow them at least once, spy on them, because they leave and they take their helmets off and then they just dangle it around the handlebars and they ride. Now, what is the point of that? So many people I work with, so many clients, that is how they get their injury, on a bicycle. It's not cool. That's how people die from head injuries from a bicycle. Secondly, I see kids wearing their helmet unbuckled. What is the point? If you get in an accident, you're going to fly off your bike, but first your helmet will fly off your head because it's not buckled. So, I'm probably the psycho parent who's telling my kids, do you see those kids? Never do that. Because if you fall off your bike, you're going to not be able to speak. I know I need to cool it a little bit because I don't want my kids to be scared running around, but I just think it's so Still Bill. That's my rant.
I mean, it sort of seems like it's the parents.
Well, it's the kids, but it's also like, maybe your kid doesn't really know, what is a helmet for? What is this protecting me for? It's like, kids don't know if you've just said, wear a helmet. Well, why?
Yeah.
At a certain point, they're like, I make my own decisions and I don't want to wear it. And I don't really have a good reason to do it.
Yeah.
So tell them you're going to get a head injury if you fly off.
But then there's that 9 to 14 age range, at least for boys, where it's like, it's not cool.
Yeah.
Well, but being a vegetable at 12 years old isn't cool either.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the snowboarders, those people that are super adventurous that had head injuries. I mean, it's awful. It's just, It's awful.
I think snowboarding is a good example though, because when I was snowboarding in college, I didn't wear a helmet.
No, I don't remember anyone wearing helmets growing up.
And now I think they're pretty ubiquitous.
I do too, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And same with skateboarding. I mean, there were so many idiots skateboarding around, flipping around, breaking bones, arms,
Yeah.
Not wearing helmets.
I mean, my own anecdote, have I said this before? Talking about my own, running into a mailbox when I was 8 years old.
No, tell us everything.
So, we used to live, we weren't at the end of a cul-de-sac, but we had, our street was a cul-de-sac, and there was a branch that went up to another cul-de-sac, and it was kind of a steep hill. And I had a couple friends in the neighborhood, and we would ride our bikes down the steep branch of the cul-de-sac and then jump off a curb to catch some air. And I think I was 7 years old, no helmet, and lost control of my bike, ran into a mailbox. I think I lost a couple of teeth. It's one of my earliest memories of my dad taking me home, carrying me home.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And from that point on, I had to wear a BMX helmet. So it was a full helmet that had a bottom half and then a visor, and it looked cool. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I was sweating my head off the whole time.
Yeah.
But
do you think you had to wear that because you had a head injury?
I don't think I had a head injury. I mean, who knows, honestly? Gosh, That's a good question.
I mean, because a lot of people get hit like that, so when you say lost teeth, and this, I think, gets into your pituitary gland or something, which is important.
Is that important? Is that why I'm bald? Is pituitary gland?
Yeah, it impacts, I think it does. It impacts testosterone, which is part of balding.
Huh. Interesting.
Ask your dad more questions. Speaking of having guests on, I've always been fascinated that your dad, who's seen me naked,
Can you provide context to that? Because it's not like...
He's a peeping Tom. That's all.
It's not like he wandered into your house and opened the door to the bathroom or something.
Correct. No, I
was an actress. She was in Equus in what year?
I don't know. 2010, 2011.
2010. Everything was a lot firmer then.
Thanks, Zach. Pre-children,
Not
though.
that I know.
Not
Pre-children. And yeah, you were on stage, and for some reason I brought my dad to this play.
Maybe I didn't tell you what was going to take place, or did you know?
I don't know that I knew.
Anyway, but then afterward, Zach's dad, I guess, left before saying good job to me, and so I've actually never met the man.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Was uncomfortable for him. But my point is that he's also a physician. And I think he could be an interesting person to be here as both a father of a brain injured person and a physician.
Well, he doesn't practice anymore.
Don't care.
He has Parkinson's.
That's great.
That's great.
I mean, great for the podcast. He can understand where we're coming from, right?
Yeah, tell him that. Yeah.
No, I don't mean that's great. I want to make sure people
breath.
I'm saying that's great. I don't think that's great. I just mean that would be another added element of interest for us here.
I wouldn't hold my breath on his guest appearance on this podcast, but I can ask.
Yeah, please do.
The functionality of it might be quite a hurdle to jump over.
You live close by him or far?
No, not close.
Not that far. You meet him for lunch, don't you?
We're pretty far. Almost an hour away from each other.
Hour's not bad.
No.
Fake yawn. Zach's been
That
yawning.
was not a yawn. I was not yawning. That was a
deep
sigh.
Deep sigh.
That was a
All
sigh,
right. Well, this has been quite an episode.
Yeah, it's been a little disjointed, I would say. Check us out for further episodes where we'll have more structure.
Yes.
I don't know. Did we tackle the article in a way that you feel is sufficient?
I just think it's useful to know that we're not forgotten. That brain injury and stroke folks are being thought of.
Somebody cares.
Yeah, and there's some efforts going into, getting back some of these really important parts of our brain. I mean, that would be incredible. I'll look forward to hearing more about this.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I thought was interesting to circle back to the article is it seems like if this drug can reconnect and regrow neurons,
right,
couldn't everybody benefit?
Oh, I'm sure.
And, based on our healthcare system, that the monetary gain is the primary focus, really, unfortunately. Yeah. Why not? I didn't notice any sort of side effects being discussed in the article.
Well, she didn't know if she had the placebo, but yeah, I mean, I guess she would have.
Yeah. So, and this kind of circles back to some of the things I've said at times of, all of these tips that we think are helpful to brain injured people are potentially helpful to neurotypical people as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're all sort of interconnected if we open our eyes to it.
Yeah. I think just the extreme difficulties that make it hard for folks with brain injury to get out into the community because these symptoms can really hold you back. That's where it feels different than the neurotypicals.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Well, we're excited to be sharing these conversations with you. We're going to be covering a new topic related to TBIs each week, going over listener-submitted calls from real-life situations. We'll be releasing episodes every Tuesday, so please subscribe. We need a second subscriber. Make sure you don't miss any of these fun and important conversations. The content in this podcast for informational and entertainment purposes only, not professional advice, and we, the hosts, are not liable for how our listener uses the information. If you need more support, please contact a therapist or medical provider. If you are having suicidal thoughts, please text 988 for support.
And please give us a call if you have anything to, any topics you'd like us to talk more about or any questions that could be answered on this podcast. And our number is 774-246-6835. And we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. Have a great week.
You as
We'll
well.
talk soon.
All right.
Bye.